Right now, U.S. forces are leaving northern Syria.
Turkey is set to launch its long-planned offensive against Kurdish.
Turkey's president has announced his invasion of northern Syria has begun.
All right, guys, welcome back. Today's video, I will be starting a new series, and I think it's going to help out a lot of you. As we all know, the U.S. has backed out of Syria, and the Turks are invading. And it's October 9th, 2019. It's the same day that they have invaded. And it's much more in depth than what the media is portraying it as. Just the U.S. is getting out, and the Turks are moving into the Kurdish territory. And yeah, so I'm going to be following the front line day by day, explaining to you guys what is happening in each city. Hopefully by explaining this stuff, you guys will be able to be more informed and more equipped to go and tell your friends about this stuff and tell them about this Turkish invasion that's happening. And first of all, I mean, I think it's kind of obvious. I'm a YPG veteran. I just got back 3 months ago. I was there from 2018 to 2019. And by no means am I saying that I am unbiased. I know that I have personal matters there, but I pride myself in being humble. I pride myself in just trying to have an unbiased view. Just last night, I was talking to a Turkish guy who disagrees with me, but we had an awesome conversation and just got to talk about this. So, yeah, like I said, hopefully you're going to learn something today, and let's begin. The first thing I want to say is I'll be using a website. I'll leave it in the description below. It's called syria.liveuamap.com. That's what my friends are probably using right now at this very moment. That's what I was using. That's what we were all using when we were over there for information. And it's a very good website. But just a little disclaimer, it's not the most safe. So if you're going to be looking at it on your PC, make sure you have an ad blocker. If you're on an iPhone, you're going to have no problems. It doesn't. There's no viruses on iPhones yet, so it's all good. But let's just begin. Here is the map that they give us. The yellow is the YPG held area. The red is the regime/Russians. The northwestern area, which has that little green spot, that's Turkish forces called the FSA, the Freed Syrian Army. And those, some people like myself will call jihadists, backed by Turkey, but they are officially called the FSA. The dark blue spots, those are Turkish activity, and the black spots are ISIS. And the sleeper cells, as we know, are rising up, and they're awaking because of this invasion, and they're trying to take advantage of it. Just exploiting this horrific invasion that is happening. There's my bias coming out, but let's begin. I'm going to start at the west, the west area, which is going to be in the area of Tal Rafat. Now, I was never there. I have a couple friends that were there, though, and they say it's very mountainous, which is why it is still being held. That area was the only spot that was left after the Afrin Operation Olive Branch. That was the invasion back in 2018 the Turks did in that area. And this is the last spot that the YPG holds. I don't see any out-of-the-ordinary activity, just some bombings, some slight skirmishes, but I don't see much activity, not as much that I would have expected with a full frontal invasion by the Turks. Now, if we move a little bit more to the east, but still west of the Euphrates River, first of all, Euphrates River, this is a big thing if you're going to be talking to your friends about this. Euphrates River, that is what you see, the border of the red and the yellow. That is all along the Euphrates River. This is a very well-known river. You probably heard about it in the Bible. It's a giant river and big and beautiful. If we look at just west of the Euphrates River, we see the city of Manbij. It's a massive city. It's mostly Arab, but it's got some Kurdish elements in it as well. The joke we had when we were there is that Manbij is one of those cities that in their basements, all the civilians have 3 different flags. They have the Turkish flag, they have the YPG flag, and they have the regime flag. And whoever takes the city, they're going to put that flag up and be like, whoa, we support you. So right now it's held by the YPG. After the YPG took it back a while ago from ISIS, it has been the source of a lot of contention for years. Turkey has always said they were going to take it. I'll tell you what, the YPG knows that, and they have fortifications. They have so many tunnels underneath that city. I don't want to get too specific, but that's going to be a very tough city for Turkey to take. But right now, they're just massing troops there, and there's not much activity. North of that, we have the city of Jarablus. I was never there, personally, but it seems like it's not really a giant city. It's just an area. It's sort of like, next to Turkey and stuff. And also their forces within Syria. They're nothing out of the ordinary. They're always sending artillery to each other. I don't see too much activity just yet. In the city of Kobani, we see some activity. After the U.S. forces left there, the Turks have started bombing it with artillery. Kobani is, if you guys remember back in 2014 and 2015, the YPG took it from ISIS. And I actually have a couple of videos of that war zone. Obviously I was just there in 2019, so this is after the fighting, but it was interesting seeing that battlefield and how close it was to the Turkish border and how complacent Turkey was with ISIS at the time. But the U.S. forces in that light blue truck icon, they have evacuated 9 hours ago, and the Turkey forces are now bombing that city, and I will not be surprised if there are thousands of casualties of civilians to come. If we move a little bit more to the east, we're going to see the city of Grespi. I was there a couple times for a couple days. It's a very beautiful city. It's half Arab, half Kurdish. It's split in half though. Half of it is in Turkey, and that's actually a different city name. I'm not even going to try and say that name, but this city we all knew was going to be the hot zone. Anybody who's been looking at this map for the last month or so knows that, yep, Grespi is going to be the first area Turkey invades, and that is certainly true. Right now, the Kurdish forces are lighting tire fires, which is actually what ISIS did to stop coalition aircraft from bombing them or even seeing them on the ground. YPG is doing that and trying to hide from UAVs, but Turkey is just not letting up, and they're bombing it to smithereens. I'm not going to be surprised if that is taken within a little bit. Also because the U.S. said to fill in all those fortifications and told the YPG that there's going to be a safe zone there, but now Turkey is making it very unsafe, and all the fortifications, I would assume, are not usable anymore. So Grespi is going to be taken here shortly, I would guess. Now, actually, it's very interesting. You see how the Turkish forces are trying to cut off this entire western area of YPG-held Rojava. You see the Turkish planes going all the way south to Raqqa. Raqqa was the capital of ISIS, and back in 2017 when it was taken by the YPG. Now the sleeper cells of ISIS are rising, and they're taking advantage of this, like I said, but the Turkish forces are bombing all the way down there. But they aren't bombing ISIS, they're bombing the YPG, so very interesting. Now if we go a little bit more east, we see the city of Serikani. That is a very Kurdish city, and it is being bombed like crazy, and just throughout this entire northern border we can all see they're amassing troops, and they are bombing the cities for just a pre-bombardment before an invasion. We haven't seen too much conflict just yet, we're just seeing the pre-bombardment. Just leading up to Kamishlo, we see just little villages here and there getting bombed by Turkey, and then in Kamishlo we do see the Turks bombing that as well. We're seeing some civilian casualties already, and Kamishlo is a very interesting city. It's very built up, about half Kurdish, half Arab, and you can see there's a little red area, and that is actually, it is the regime. The regime holds some of that area, so it's going to be interesting to see how the regime responds. Do they send reinforcements to the city to help the Kurdish YPG with defending the city because they hold some of that land, or what do they do? Very interesting. We're going to see what comes in the next coming days. I'll be documenting that over this series. Yep, just leading up to the city of Derek now. We have some bombings, and Derek, the city of Derek, or in Arabic it's called Al-Malkiya. That city, I was at a lot of times. I was there dozens of times. It's a beautiful city, very built up, untouched by the war on ISIS throughout 2012 up until now. So it's a very built up city, but now it is being bombed and by the Turks, and I would assume that the YPG is going to try and hold this area with as much reinforcements as possible. The Turks know this, and they are bombing it. They're bombing the border crossing with Iraq that the U.S. used to send fortifications and weaponry through, and the Turks know that, yeah, this is a very strategic point because it borders Turkey and northern Iraq, and northern Iraq has a lot of PKK. Because of this, I would assume that the YPG is going to try and keep that communication line with them, try and get reinforcements from the PKK or weaponry or whatever they can. It's going to be interesting to see what Turkey does and how they go about that area, because the Free Syrian Army is not near that area at all. And that's pretty much what's happening, though. As I said, I will be describing these cities in more detail in the videos to come. This is certainly not going to be the most in-depth video. I just want to sort of show you guys what this series is going to be about. Obviously, this is a very sad moment in time. I just make sure to pray for the people. Make sure to be well equipped to tell your friends about what is happening and give a personal city name and a personal, oh, this civilian died and here he is. It's important to show people what this is, especially here in the West, where we have the comforts of just Western civilization. So make sure to raise your voice about this invasion. They need it more than ever. My buddies are out there, and I just hope for the best here. Hopefully we can get some peaceful resolution here, and yeah. Anyway, make sure to share this video if you thought it was helpful. Give it a like if you enjoyed it, a dislike if you didn't, and I'll talk to you guys in the next one. Peace.